Nada today. Located inside Ryder Excursion at the Esplanade Mall, we handle both small and large orders with speed and precision. For fast, quality t-shirt printing, call Instaprint at 473-422-1011. Get your perfect print today at Instaprint. Printing done in an instant.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Club. It is a fantastic Friday wherever you are. And of course, you know, I always start the program with gratitude. And this morning, I am grateful for life. I am grateful for the lessons. I'm grateful for maturity and patience because I find myself having to exercise it a lot these days. And sometimes I think of how far I have come. Because 10, 15 years ago, some of the things I'm experiencing now, there would have been bacchanal and chaos and some sort of explosion. So I'm also thankful for maturity. I'm thankful for experience. I'm thankful for the lessons and the blessings, because sometimes there's always a lesson in the bad things that happen and a lesson in the good things that happen. It's just for us to pay attention. I hope you've been practicing what I've been encouraging. I hope that you're practicing waking up early. I know it's a new phenomenon for the new generation. They want to roll out of bed all 10, 11 o'clock. But I hope that you've been practicing waking up very early and making time for yourself to spend with, of course, Papa God, and to also reflect on life. It's the best thing to do. When you wake up early and there's no noise, there's no cell phone, there's no traffic, there's nobody else footsteps running around, you're able to really spend some time with yourself. And let me tell you something, it does wonders for you. Now, we have a fantastic show in store. Of course, yes, we have What Irks Kirk, and we're going to be talking about What Irks Kirk. But I have two fantastic organizations on this morning. I have the Child Protection Authority, and I have the Rosebud Development Center. So we're going to be chatting with these people because I like when you have people that are doing good, because sometimes all we hear about is the bad news. And sometimes we need to hear the good things that are happening so that it can awaken and, you know, bring our spirits to life. So we are going to be right back with What Irks Kirk. Oh, you know what I'm grateful for? I'm also grateful that you've made the Ride Along Network, both Ride Along Live, and of course, Wake Up Club, your number one choice. Thank you very much. We'll be right back.
Ryder's Excursion and Tours weekly e-bike rides. Gather your family and friends for an unforgettable ride through stunning landscapes. Book your adventure today at ridersabike.com or call 473-422-1011. Don't miss out. Let's ride.
Welcome back. Of course, you're tuned into the Wake Up Club. I know you have choices. We are happy that you're here. But let me tell you about what irks me this morning. And I just spoke about patience and maturity, because sometimes it's hard to say things without some of you all getting on your high horse, because you're just here, you doesn't listen. Okay? And everything people say, you're just ready to pass judgment on it. But as I tell you, I ain't fighting bacchanal with none of all you, and I ain't defending nothing I have to say. I want to talk about Carriacou and Petit Martinique. and Hurricane Beryl. Now, I want to make sure I put a disclaimer out there. Nobody was prepared to deal with Hurricane Beryl. Not the government, not NADMA, not you who tune in here, okay? Not the people who lost their entire livelihoods because of Hurricane Beryl. Nobody is fully prepared to deal with that. But you know what is my problem? My problem is some of you wicked people out there, okay? Wicked people out there that are taking advantage of the situation. You all know the cost to send a package up to Carriacou now? You're trying to send some help, some food, some aid to your people in Carriacou, and they're trying to gouge you on the boat. Come on. What happened to humanity? What happened to human nature? All of a sudden, to ship a package up to Carriacou to help your family and your friends is 2-3 times what it normally costs. Why you all had to take every opportunity out of disaster to take advantage of people? What happened to humanity and human nature? What is going on? Now, I could sit down and call the churches and say, oh God, we need a day of prayer, we need all of that. But if I frustrated them, pastors probably so damn frustrated with all you as well. And when I say all you, not the viewers, you know, some all is sensitive. Or everything I say, all you just feel is all you're talking to. Stop taking advantage of people. People trying to help their family and friends. All of a sudden to send a package, you send 2 package up $1,000. What going on? And you want to say goodness, gracious Grenada. Some of you want to say God from Grenada. What's going on with some of y'all? I have a friend, they lost their roof. They finally go up in Carriacou to check out the house, and everything from inside the house gone. And Beryl didn't go with it, you know. Humans that go with it. What happened to humanity, people? What happened to God from Grenada? What happened to we people? Why are we behaving like that? What happened to love for your neighbor and your friends and your family? We're a small community. Some of all you really, let me tell you something. Some of all you on judgment, they go get the shock all your life, you know. Because you're just wicked and all you maybe you're eating all your wicked. A little humanity. Let me also talk to NADMA. NADMA, in every way you go, it have the have and it have the have-nots. I hear them people ready to pelt corned beef back at all you. Because really and truly what them people need, you're not giving them. And this is not a slight on the government, because you know some all is sensitive. What them people really need right now is materials to build back the homes. Some of them living under tarpaulins, mosquito eating them. And you know them tarpaulin now is dry weather tarpaulin. So all the rain that come in, some of them wetting. What they need is material. So some of them that have their money that they could start to build back, they can't build back because there are no materials. And I hear all you talking free barrel, and I'm so happy for the free barrel. Okay? Because not only the people that experience barrel go win with the free barrel, all of us go win with the free barrel because the price of food so high now. But you know what would be really nice? Why all you don't try to take off the VAT and the taxes on the rebuilding materials that these people need to rebuild their homes? Maybe all you could do that to ease them up. Because some of them have their money, you know, but they don't have materials, they don't have galvanized, they don't have lumber, they don't have a lot of these things for them to even start. If you want to get them some relief, take some of them taxes off. Okay? I know it's scary because you know we people. Every time people get a jackass, they feel it's to ride it. So there are people who are going to take advantage of the situation, okay, who nothing happened to them because of Beryl. Okay? Because somehow humanity gone out the door. When you watch outside, it's just a set of jackasses. Everybody riding everybody. All you forget about love. Listen. Goodness gracious Grenada. Pastors, I know all you fed up. If I fed up, all you probably just watch your congregation every day and all you fed up. But all you can't get fed up. We need God back in Grenada. Okay? And somebody may say, well, what the sinner talking about is the sinner had to tell you. Yes, me, the sinner, had to tell you that we need God in Grenada. Listen, I could go on and on, but that is what irks me this morning. I fed up. Somebody tell me, Cook, one day you'll get a heart attack on your program. I said, no, I ain't gonna get no heart attack. But I just fed up. You're gouging people to ship things up there. You're thieving and pilfering. You're looting. Some of all you're going up there, all you can lift a piece of galvanized, all you can help clean nothing. The only thing all you could lift is all your damn cell phone to take selfie and show the destruction. Because all you're looking for clickbait on all your channel. All you wicked. Anyhow, we go take a quick break and we come right back.
Pick yourself up with Ride Rent a e-bike today and take advantage of the smartest and coolest way to get around. Rental starting for only $30 per hour and less than $100 EC per day. Zip through traffic, save money, and look awesome doing it. Check us out at the Esplanade Mall today. Visit us online at ridersebike.com or give us a call at 473-422-1011. Your wallet and the planet will thank you. Ride Rent a e-bike.
Welcome back. And woo, sir. Sometimes I just had to calm myself down. Because, you know, sometimes I just fed up. But then again, there are good people in Grenada still. And my first guest this morning is Rose Fraser of the Rosebud Development Center, Inc. Rose, welcome to the Wake Up Club.
Hi, good morning, Kirk, and thank you so very much for having me.
Rose, listen, I always like to celebrate when people are doing good things, because I need to always remind myself that there are good people out there. There are good organizations out there that are doing good things for the people of Grenada. Tell me about the Rosebud Development Center and the programs that you all have coming up.
Okay, so the Rosebud Development Center started 15 years ago. And it was just an initiative when I came back from studying and I realized that the children in the community were not doing what they're supposed to do. So I just started out with a little homework. To fast forward a bit, in 2023, we registered our organization. 2024. So it was this year. We registered our organization and we launched our program in April of 2024. Currently, we teach the children Spanish, reading, we do a bit of music, we encourage them in community service. In February of 2024, we did a 50-50 hamper. So because of independence, we gave out 50 hampers. But by going out into the community, we realized that the need was much greater. So as an organization, we would have given out 65 hampers. In the month of July, starting on the 22nd of July, we are having our Summer Camp 3.0. We try as much as possible to subsidize our summer camp. So the parents will pay $50 registration fee. All the materials are given to the children. However, they will purchase their lunch and break. This year, our focus is on the environment. And as such, our community activities this year will be to give back to approximately 45 sanitation workers in the parish of St. Andrew and St. Patrick's. So hence, we are soliciting support from the general public, from the business community in helping us to organize this venture. And what we are looking for is for persons to assist us with the plaques. Some persons might say, okay, I can assist you in printing some certificates, just send it for me. We are looking for refreshments. We are trying to give them some gift bags and to decorate the place and make it nice for them. So
okay,
at the end...
Now tell me, I know we need help, but tell me, what age children are you catering for? And what are some of the things that they are going to be taught during the camp? What are
All
some of the
right.
areas they're covering?
Awesome. So we're catering for the group caters to children ages 4 to 16. However, for the camp, we're working with the same age range, 4 to 16. So we start at the preschool level because we believe that the younger they are, we'll be able to inculcate the values and so that the organization believes in the younger ones. So as they get older, they will not depart from this.
Okay.
So in the summer camp this year, we are going to teach them about being able to dispose of their waste properly, because remember I said our focus is on the environment. They will also be doing some cooking. So we have some baking classes, we have some cooking classes, we also have cake decorating. Apart from that, we are going to create a composting hip where we will be looking at the retired teachers who come back to give us some assistance in this regard as it relates to composting. Arts and craft, we're going to try as much as possible to use recycled materials to engage them in arts and craft and let them know that there are certain things at home that they can use to create items for themselves. So for example, they have all their pencils and pens hanging around. They can use one of the milk pans that their parents would have used prior and cover it, just color some paper, get some glue, cover it around, and this would be the holder for the pens and pencils at home instead of throwing it away.
Okay. Sounds interesting. Where does this camp happen, and how, a parent tuning in right now, how do they register? How do they get their children involved? Tell us a little bit about that. And then, we definitely going to make the plea to the public for help, because we need help to sustain all these things happening. But how can a parent get their child involved?
Okay, so we have a Facebook page. It is Rosebud Development Center, Inc., and that's the name of our Facebook page. Persons can register. We have a Google form out, and it's also on the page. My Facebook page is Rose Fraser. Also on the Bel Government School page, the link is there also for registration. And as I mentioned, the Bel Government School, this is where the camp will be. And I must thank them for housing us. So all our activities happen at the Bel Government School, and we're grateful for that. So on the Bel Government School page, Rose Fraser Facebook page, and the Rosebud Development Center Inc. Facebook page, the link is there for registration. And once the parents register their child, I will give them a call to do the necessaries.
Okay. Now, which parish is this happening? Is it in a specific parish?
In the parish of St. Andrew.
In the parish of St. Andrew. So definitely parents that are interested, probably neighboring parishes, if you could do the commuting and stuff like that, they're all welcome. Now, Rose, I know these initiatives aren't cheap. I want to commend your organization for doing something like this. And I like the focus on the environment. And I also like the focus on giving back to the sanitation workers, because I always tell people we don't value our sanitation workers as much as we do. Because I know my life would stink if the garbage man ain't show up to take the garbage out. But in all these initiatives, you need support. How can people support your organization, or how can people get involved? Because sometimes it's better to give of yourself than your possessions, because that's when you truly give. So somebody there that you probably is good in arts and craft and would like to volunteer, or somebody who has the financial resources, how do they get involved?
Okay, so I can be contacted on 473-458-1469. You can send me a message through our Facebook pages, and we'll definitely get back to you. And of course, Kirk, we do need we need the assistance, because the value of time is much more than the monies or the things that persons will donate to the organization. You can donate your monies and you can donate the items that we need, but if we don't have the human resources to work with it, then it does not make any sense. So we need the human resources as well as maybe monetary contributions or items contributions.
Okay, brilliant. So Rose, just again before we wrap up, give us your contact again, Give us your Facebook page. Give us the links. Tell us when does this start and when does it end?
Okay. So I can be contacted on 458-1469 on the Rosebud Development Center, Inc.
1469, you said, right?
1469.
Okay.
The Rosebud Development Center, Inc. That's our Facebook page, or you can contact me on the Bel Air Government School Facebook page or on the Rose Fraser Facebook page. It begins on Monday, July 22nd, and it ends on August 7th. On August 4th, Sunday, August 4th, is when we are going to have our little award ceremony for the sanitation workers. And at the end of the summer camp on August 7th, we're having an open day and a little graduation ceremony for the participants. And in this graduation ceremony, we normally invite the business community along with persons within our community to come and see what the students would have accomplished during the 2 weeks. Persons that are looking to donate financially, we have an account at the Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, and the account number is 126439. So the account number again, 126430, sorry. And it's in the name of the Rosebud Development Center, Inc., and it's at the Grenville Cooperative Credit Union.
Okay. Rose, listen, I want to thank you for of course, sharing this with us. Commend you and your organization for taking up something that's important, because we keep hearing about the environment. We keep hearing, about, what's happening out there in the world. And I think it's very important that our children are mindful. Our children learn about proper disposal of garbage. They learn about recycling. And all these things, we're doing it in a fun atmosphere where they can learn and participate with art and, of course, get themselves occupied during this summer vacation. So I want to commend you. I want to encourage you to keep us, connected and informed. We'd love to see some of what is happening when it's happening. Someone just asked if you could repeat the account number one more time.
Okay, 126430. Again,
okay.
126430.
And that's at the Grenville Credit Union, right?
At the Grenville Credit Union, yes.
Okay. Rose, thank you for joining us this morning on the Wake Up Club. We appreciate you. We honor you. We need some good things happening. We say, goodness gracious, Grenada, I want us to own that name. So thank you. It's been a pleasure, and we'll chat again soon. Folk, you're tuned into the Wake Up Club. When we come back, I'll be chatting with Mr. Dante Wilkes and Mrs. Sabrina Sanderson Plenty. They're from the Child Protection Authority. We'll be right back. Folk, welcome back to the Wake Up Club. This morning we have two wonderful people. We have Mr. Dante Wilkes and we have Mrs. Sabrina Sanderson Plenty, and they are from the Child Protection Authority. Folk, welcome to the Wake Up Club.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having us here. It's indeed a pleasure, and we look forward to an excited and fruitful conversation this morning.
Well, definitely. Listen, I am happy you guys are here. And as I said, I know we should talk about protection of children. We're going to talk about, especially during the carnival season. But I want to begin with, tell us a little bit about the Child Protection Authority. Because to me, the only time I hear about the Child Protection Authority is when some bacchanal happening and people don't understand the amount of work that you guys are doing behind the scenes. So tell us about the Child Protection Authority and its functions.
Okay. So Child Protection Authority was established in 2010, and
Mm-hmm.
it came about after the government of Grenada and cabinet saw it was fit to pass a legislation that deals specifically with the protection and adoption of children. So everything Child Protection Authority does, it is done in accordance to the Child Protection and Adoption Act of 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So our main responsibility is to protect the children of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique, and we are also responsible solely for the adoption and foster caring of all children.
Okay, brilliant. Now, Mr. Wilkes, the carnival season is fast approaching, and I could talk a lot about what I see, and we could discuss it, because I think sometimes parents don't understand that they are sometimes the catalyst for a lot of the things that go wrong in their children's lives. Tell us about your concerns, your programs, what's happening.
Well, in terms of Carnival, there are a lot of things we are concerned about in regards to livelihoods and children in general.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of parents, a lot of Grenadian parents specifically, we are festival goers. We like to attend a lot of events, a lot of parties, these kind of things. But we have to be mindful that even though we are going to these events, we still have to put things in place for our children. Supervision and proper care, and making sure that if they're not also with us visually, we have someone else looking after them. Because a lot of the time they are left unsupervised because any adult relative you have is also going to said event. So you end up with no one you usually would have to care for them. So you say, okay, well, I'll just leave them home for a little while and I'm coming back. But even in 5, 10 minutes or half a day, something could happen. So supervision is a major concern we have for children during the carnival season as well.
Mm-hmm. Miss Plenty, your view on what's going on carnival-wise?
Yes, I think it's very important, just as Mr. Wood say, that the children are adequately and properly supervised. We have all experienced so many things in life. We have looked at the news, we have looked in our communities, and we have seen so many situations that would have occurred with children that can be preventative. So we are taking the stand now to encourage parents, to encourage guardians, to encourage anyone that will be responsible for children to ensure that the children are properly and adequately supervised at all times. It is also important, and we are encouraging persons now, that whenever you go out with your child, it can be just a sticky note, a small piece of paper, but once that child has a bag, they may have a purse, you can even put it in their pocket. You write the child's name, the child's full name, the address, a contact number for the parent, or a name for that parent. Because often other times you go to different activities and you can hear on the mic that the MC is announcing they have this child backstage. Because in the crowd, that child probably would have slipped out from their guardian, or that guardian probably was purchasing something and that child wandered off. And it takes a second for something life-changing to happen. And it is important that we do all that is necessary in this time to prevent those things from happening.
Mm-hmm. Now, I also want to talk about the nurturing, and especially around carnival time. And it's one of my pet peeves. You see parents, number one, dressing their children in a very vulgar manner. Also encouraging them, wine, child, wine. And they're encouraging their children. And I know it's cultural, but sometimes to me they're sending the wrong message. Because if you're teaching the child to whine and gyrate and twerk, and you take them to carnival, especially the young girls, and I speak my mind, especially young girls, and when they're observing the older women twerking, they're seeing a man twerking behind them. Sometimes we're sending the wrong message. Can I get your views on that?
So I believe at the end of the day, we need to understand one thing. Children are like sponges. Whatever you put in is what you get out. And as the child grows, especially during the first 7 years of a child's life, those years are very crucial. So it is important that you socialize your children into behaviors and attitudes that you would like for them to emulate as an adult. It is also important that you teach your children certain values in life. Now, most persons may say this is a very touchy topic because some persons may say, it's my body, I have a right to wear whatever I like. And there is nothing wrong with you exercising your right. But at the end of the day, we have to look back and say, how is that going to impact my child? How is that going to affect myself in the long run? The behaviors that I am exhibiting now, is that the behaviors I would like my child to exhibit? Is that the behaviors that I find it acceptable? Because so many other times, parents would say, there is nothing wrong with my child wearing a short shorts with the piece of our bottom outside. There is nothing wrong with my 2-year-old wearing a crop top and a short piece of pants to go to a carnival event. So many persons say those things. But at the end of the day, is this a child or is this an adult? And what are the behaviors that you're looking for? Because a police officer would dress like a police officer. A nurse would dress like a nurse. If we walk into a court one day and we see the judge is wearing a thin strap dress or a vest, how would we feel? We would feel that this setting, the judge is not a serious person. Why is he dressed like that? We even look at different persons in society, the prime minister, the different ministers. And if we see they go to certain functions and their dress code is not acceptable in our eyes, we criticize and we have so many things to say about it. But when it comes to wearing clothing that can protect your children from being sexualized in an open society, a society where it is that you have no control over anyone but yourself and your child to an extent, you have to be mindful. And I think it is now that parents go back to the drawing board and take their responsibilities seriously, because the sole responsibility of a parent is to train your child in the values, the practices, the attitudes and behavior that they should emanate, because they are the ones responsible for the next generation. And if we continue the way that we're going, our generation may be very bleak.
Yeah, definitely, because sometimes when I see it on social media and I see the parents themselves celebrating, child wine, shake up your body, twerk, and I'm saying, you said it right. Children are like sponges. So if I'm teaching you to twerk and I'm teaching you to whine and carry on in the skimpiest outfit and I'm celebrating that as a parent, then as a child, that is the right thing to do. And then I take you to carnival and then I realize that, listen, I'm doing it wrong. A man's supposed to be behind me twerking on me. Then you know what happens when a predator comes for these children, and then you know what you turn around and say? The child too fresh. But the sad thing about it, Miss Anderson, plenty, is a lot of the parents, unfortunately, are children themselves and they don't know better. Mr. Wilkes, as a man, I want to get your perspective on this, please.
Well, my perspective on the whining and all these things as culture is, yes, it is part of our culture, but it's not everything to do with carnival. And I think that's the misconception a lot of people have. Mm-hmm. You have many things that make you a Grenadian in carnival. You have the colors, you have the history, you have the long standing of freedom, all these other things that could be celebrated. Bright colors, expressionism, all these things. And if someone chooses to just say, okay, my perception of Ghanaian culture is drinking a lot and gyrating and whining, that's fine for them, but it has to be age-appropriate celebration of culture. Because you wouldn't expect someone who's in their 20s, 30s, 40s to be behaving the same way as someone who is 9, 10, 11, 12. You wouldn't expect them to dress the same. You wouldn't expect them to talk the same, talk about the same things, act the same way. So it is about expression of culture, but expression that is appropriate for who you are and the stage that you are at in your life.
Yeah, exactly. No, I appreciate it. And I know I brought up culture. The funny thing about it is, I don't even know if some of it is our culture, because I know we chip and we whine and stuff, but I think we seem to never own what is ours. We always seem to take something from somebody else, because the twerking has never been part of our culture. That's the American pole dancing and strip club culture that all of a sudden we seem to want to own. Because listen, if you want to take a look, and I know I'm straying, you want to take a look at Brazil, they're in the sexiest costumes out, but they are not bending over and skinning up for the whole world to see their anatomy. They maintain their culture in terms of when you see them, they're doing the samba dance. It is us as a people who seem to not know what our culture is. So we have adopted the strip club culture of bending over, and you see it happening on the streets of Grenada during Carnival. The twerking has never been thing. It has never been our thing. And to me, the worst thing you could do is expose a child to that. And remember, to a child, your parents and your adults are the closest thing to God. So we really need to take a look at that. Folks, you're watching The Wake Up Club. I'm chatting with people from the Child Protection Authority. I'm chatting with Mr. Dante Wilkes and Miss Sabrina Sanderson Plenty. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Riders Excursion and Tours weekly e-bike rides. Gather your family and friends for an unforgettable ride through stunning landscapes. Book your adventure today at ridersabike.com or call 473-422-1011. Don't miss out. Let's ride.
Folks, welcome back. You're tuned into the Wake Up Club. Of course, this morning I'm chatting with the Child Protection Authority. I'm chatting with Mr. Dante Wilkes and Mrs. Sabrina Sanderson Plenty. And of course, if you have any questions you'd like me to ask, please put it on the screen. I'll be sure to ask these wonderful people your questions. Now, I'm so happy that you guys are taking the bull by the horns. And coming out and sharing your concerns and your best wishes, especially for children as we approach the carnival season. What would you say would be the biggest issue that you guys deal with at the Child Protection Authority?
So at Child Protection Authority, most persons are aware that we deal and we work along with a lot of the families that are victim of abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse. We also do work along with persons with neglect and abandonment and so forth. But specifically during this carnival season, what the main concerns that we are often forced to deal with is the lack of supervision and the spillovers of that. So whenever it is that the children are not adequately supervised, there are so many things that they get involved in, and those things do affect them in the long run. So most of those cases are reported to Child Protection Authority, and we go out to deal with it. And sometimes we go on one case, and before we reach to that destination, we get so many other reports and so many different things that we have to deal with. But the main concern that we are forced to deal with, and that's why we are using this platform now, is the lack of adequate supervision.
Definitely. Mr. Wilkes?
Well, a lot of the time, it's a situation where you would see a child, for example, go out, leave their parents' house and say, okay, I'm going with my friend to this event. The parent also goes to another event, and then they both leave. Parent comes back home, child is not at home. They think, well, they must be by the friend. 1 day passes, 2 days pass, 3 days pass. And suddenly when you realize you haven't seen your child in 3-4 days, you call them, they're not answering their phone. Now you decide, okay, I'm going to call, I'm going to see if anyone knows them. And by the time you reach to call us or call the police, it's already been about a week because you tried to call their aunt, their uncle, this friend, that friend. So a lot of the time, it simply takes you knowing, okay, you're going out to this friend. All right, if the event is finished, where would you most likely be after that? Or give them preparation beforehand. Make sure you have your phone charger with you. Make sure you know where you're going, how you're getting home. If you can't get home, know which safe person you're staying by. Because a lot of people, they may just jump into a car and say, okay, I get a ride home. But that ride home, you stop off at 4 or 5 different places before you eventually reach to your house. And among those 4 or 5 places, you don't know what is going to be there. So it's better to instruct your children beforehand of the do's and don'ts to avoid any sort of problems there.
Definitely. Guys, listen, I appreciate you guys coming on. A lot of the questions that are coming in, not really questions, suggestions, are about the culture and the vulgarity that's happening within Carnival itself. So definitely it tells me that we need to do a program on it, because people are concerned with some of the expressions here, there is no culture in thong and nipple cover. A lot of these different things that we definitely will have to deal with on another edition of the Wake Up Club, because it definitely concerns me. It concerns me that there is no carnival for children anymore. It concerns me that as adults, we've taken somebody else's culture. It's all about the wire bra now. It's all about the thongs. It's all about the twerking. And it's all about doing stuff that's not us culturally. So, as we wrap up, I want to give both of you the opportunity to give us your final thoughts and also to give us your contact details. How can people contact you? I want you to reiterate, because I do experience it, because I'm at a lot of events and you have a lot of lost children. So I think that's a brilliant idea for parents to put the name, address, and contact details in some part of their children's clothing. Guys, we'll start with you, Mr. Wilkes.
Parting words is basically, if you don't want your child to do certain things, it begins with the parents. What you teach them, what they see from you. Because there's a lot of people, they would teach their children great lessons from A to Z, the greatest of morals. But then if you're not emulating said morals in your life, that's where the discrepancy comes about. Because that child will hear the lessons you're teaching them, but then look at you, and as you said, parents are very much the closest thing to gods they would have as small children. So they would see them and say, okay, I know you're telling me I shouldn't drink. I know you're telling me I shouldn't dress this way. But I find I always seeing you drinking and dressing this way, and you seem to be fine. So if mommy and daddy could do it, then I feel like I could do it, because they seem like they're good and they're adults and they're fine. So I'll do it as well. So it comes down to, as they say, charity begins at home. What you do is what your child will end up emulating in most cases. So you kind of have to adjust yourself in a sense sometimes when your child is watching. I'm not saying to become a priest or anything. It's just a matter of be mindful of what you're doing when your child is around.
Just before we bring on Mrs. Sanderson, plenty. I think a lot of parents sometimes, because I remember as a child, there's so much that I saw and observed from my parents that they didn't even know that I was looking at. And as Mrs. Sanderson plenty said, children are like sponges. So sometimes as parents, we're not even conscious that children are listening to our conversations. They're watching our actions, they're paying attention. They may not say anything. You may not know. They're looking at your drinking habits with alcohol. They're looking at your habits with substances. They're paying attention. Mrs. Sanderson, plenty, your closing words.
Okay, so I would just like to reemphasize the Child Protection Authority is really encouraging parents and guardians and anyone that come in contact with children to be on the lookout. Look out for them. Be your neighbor's keeper. Parents, ensure that your children are adequately supervised under the supervision of a trusted and well-respected adult. Because so many of the times because of desperation, we want to go to work or we want to go to that event, we will just give anyone our children to look after, not thinking about the risk and the harm that you are putting your children in. So it is important that you take the time out to do all that is necessary to keep your children safe during this season. It is your responsibility. It is not the responsibility of the state. It is not the responsibility of the police officer, but first, it is the responsibility of each parent to ensure that their children are properly and adequately supervised and protected. And you have to do all that is necessary. Once it is that you see that there are any cases of abuse or suspected abuse, you may see a child that is looking very neglected. You may know of any situation where it is that there are minors residing in the home of adult males, or even family members that encourage their children to bring home their partners that are below the age of 16 and 18 by extension. Please report those cases of abuse or suspected abuse to the Child Protection Authority. You can call our telephone number at 435-0293, or you can reach us at our emergency line, the hotline. You can call via WhatsApp as well at 533-6990. That is 533-6990 and 423-0293. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to thank you guys for joining us on the Wake Up Club. Great conversation. I'm looking at the comments. People are happy that we're having this discussion. We always talk about putting our children first, but sometimes we don't put them first based on our own actions. And unfortunately, the cycle continues because sometimes it's poor parenting. It starts with poor parenting. Children who have been parented poorly becoming parents themselves, and the cycle continues. But we've got to break the cycle. Folks, thank you for joining us on the Wake Up Club. I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, we'll wrap up. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians! From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up, up, up several notches, but the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
Pick yourself up with Ride Rent a e-bike today and take advantage of the smartest and coolest way to get around. Rental starting for only $30 per hour and less than $100 EC per day. Zip through traffic, save money, and look awesome doing it. Check us out at the Esplanade Mall today. Visit us online at ridersebike.com or give us a call at 473-422-1011. Your wallet and the planet will thank you. Ride Rent a e-bike.
Folks, welcome back to the Wake Up Club. Of course, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. There's so much we can talk about. And if there's a topic that you would like us to address here on the Wake Up Club, please make sure you put it in the comments so that we can see it. Definitely, I want to thank my guests this morning. We had Rose Fraser of the Rosebud Development Center, Inc., and they're doing a fantastic summer workshop and camp for children between the age of 4 and 16. Their focus is on the environment. We've got climate change. So they're going to be doing a lot of wonderful things to educate young people. Their information has been put in the comments. So please, if you are able to support them, please support them. And also we had Mr. Dante Wilkes and Mrs. Sabrina Sanderson Plenty from the Child Protection Authority. And I'm happy to see people doing the jobs that they're hired for and spreading the message, simple message that is very valuable. And we're not only talking about Spice Mass during Spice Mass. It should be a practice that when you have young children, you put that information in their pockets, regardless, whenever you go out with them. Because we often see children wandering off. Sometimes parents get preoccupied. Sometimes you're buying something and the child was sitting right there. And it doesn't necessarily make you a bad parent. We have curious children that will just do what they want to do regardless. So it is a good practice to have. Make sure that your children this season, they're not left with the wrong people. Just because you want to go out and fet and have a good time, you leave them by some uncle, but you don't even know the uncle vices. Okay? So because you want to satisfy yourself, you expose your children to something that could traumatize them for their entire life because you needed to go and shake your waist in some fet. Okay? Because for some reason, a lot of you parents have not grown up. You need to be in every fet and in every jam and in everything for the season, else you're not alive. We've got to practice responsible parenting. We have to. You brought these children into this world. And you see this thing where you think your children sexy, so you put them in a crop top and you put them in some tight pants and you want them to look like adults and take them to carnival and you want to put them on Facebook and say, wine child, twerk child, something wrong with you. You should be locked up. You should be locked up. Children are sponges, just like Miss Sanderson Plenty said. They're sucking up everything. So if you teach them to twerk, you teach them to play sexy because you think it's nice and funny with your friends. And when they go to mass, they realize that one thing lacking is a man supposed to be whining behind them. And then they develop a vice. And then you want to say the child fresh. Listen, some of you need to wake up as parents. And some of you go vex, but remember, always tell all your face, If this program offends you, you have the opportunity and the choice to watch something else. But of course, I want to thank my valued viewers. We love you on the Ride Along Network. Thank you again for making Ride Along Life #1. And of course, the Wake Up Club is new and you've already made us #1. But I can only do the job if I know the topics that you want us to deal with. And definitely from the comments today, I realized we need to talk about Spice Mass. And then people just vex when I talk about Spice Mass. But I ain't talking about the corporation. I'm talking about some of the things we see happening in Spice Mass. Like, the new culture that we seem to take because we can't own ours. Back in the days was a nice little chip and a nice little grind and you're going down the road. Now it's bend over and throw everything in people's face, skin up, lie down on the ground and open your leg wide like if you're in a damn strip club somewhere in Miami or New York. Okay? I remember the days when being a stripper was looked down on, But the Cardi B's of this world made it is such a fashionable thing to be a stripper and to be vulgar and to cock up and skin up yourself for the whole world to see. Some of all you is strippers and all you don't know. Some of all you behaving like hoes on the street and all you don't know because all of a sudden it's cultural. Something gone wrong, Anyhow, it's a fantastic Friday and I want to encourage you guys to have a fantastic day. Have a great weekend. Remember to do something for yourself. And I don't mean buying something for yourself. Just find a 5 minutes that you could separate yourself from everybody and just breathe. Remember to give Papa God reverence always. And thank you again for tuning in to the Wake Up Club. Have a fantastic weekend, folks.
I want you folks to play these 3 games from the NLA. Daily pick 3 cash flow and play with. You will be supporting sports and culture, nation building and our future. So go out and play, folks, make it a must. You will see what the National Lottery is doing for us. When you play pick 3 cash flow and play with, the NLA will support you all the way.
Starting September 30th, Monday to Friday, these 3 games will be drawn mid-morning, 9:45 a.m., midday, 12:45 p.m., and evenings, 7:45 p.m. The National Lotteries, supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Sunday money.